We had a discussion recently regarding AI threats to Visa and MasterCard. AI assists with built-in payments like ChatGPT could make credit card networks less relevant, cutting Visa and MasterCard out of the transition flow. What do you think about it? What do you think about MasterCard?
What happens behind the scenes is the MasterCard network. To replicate that network would take a lot of effort. MasterCard serves millions of members across the planet, across several countries, and getting regulatory approval, partnerships with banks and other entities, that would take a lot of time. Brand value for MasterCard is pretty strong, and it's very hard to replicate that, even if you have an extraordinary AI tool, right? So at this moment, I don't think the technology is good enough to replace either MasterCard or Visa network.
Who is stronger, Visa or MasterCard?
I don't think there's any huge difference between either of these companies. Their offerings might be different, but the way they operate is pretty much the same. And how you can decide whether to buy Visa or MasterCard is based on the financials of these individual companies. And what we see in StocksDojo is the fair value estimate of 220, but the stock is trading at almost 600, right? So there's a huge gap between the fair value and the trading price.
Wait. Before you jump in too much. I remember looking at Visa and I'm 70. Why is it such a huge difference between two quite equal in my mind companies?
Yeah, so the risk factor is different between Visa and MasterCard. So we have assigned a higher risk, higher discount rate for MasterCard. But if I reduce it to the same 10% that Visa was showing, you'll see a better number. Now you have 300 and 573. It is still overvalued. But if you reduce it to 8%, if you lower your expectations and if you expect only 8% returns from this company in the future, assuming it's a safer bet, now you're getting kind of closer to the stock price, but it's still overvalued, right? The reason why it's overvalued is there's a lot of expectation with this company, and there's a positive sentiment around MasterCard more than Visa at this moment, that they would be able to deliver more value for the customer, right? And yeah,
Why did you set up discount rate as 12% but not 10%, the same as Visa? Why do you think that MasterCard is riskier than Visa?
that's our secret sauce. I cannot reveal it here. Let's look at the financials, right? So for in the financials, you see MasterCard has a similar growth rate like Visa, 10 to 12%, right? Cash flow probably a bit more positive than Visa. The market cap for MasterCard around 530 billion. I think Visa's market cap is probably higher. MasterCard is also a dividend payer, but their yield is lower as the stock has been exploding in the recent past. But they also pay growing dividends every year on par with Visa.
Should we quickly look at sustainable development for
Yep.
MasterCard? Actually, MasterCard has less critique in ESG than Visa. The main highlights, well, emission and climate action. MasterCard reduced its greenhouse gas emission by 7% in 2024, increasing revenue by 12%. Well done, MasterCard. 100% renewable energy and operational neutrality. Then sustainable plastic card rollout. So transitioned over 168 million payment card to bio-based materials. By 2028, all MasterCard plastic cards will be eliminated. Digital inclusion and community impact. Over 960 million people were connected to the digital economies. Educational initiative, Kids for Tech, Girls for Tech. reached 309,000 students in 2024. Maybe MasterCard not as overvalued considering all the good stuff they're doing. Employees volunteered 135,000 hours in 2024, up 11% year over year. Low ESG risks and supply engagement. Areas of scrutiny. MasterCard has faced historical antitrust allegations related to interchange fees and merchant restriction in both the US and Europe. I don't know what to add. So that's the only what I found.
Okay, so I was scoring these parameters while you were sharing your thoughts.
Ba-dum-bum. Definitely give them extra points for having 100% renewable energy. Responsible consumption and production, I would also rate them high.
Okay, so the environment score is 70. That's great. You have a social score of almost 60, and then governance is 72. It has done much better than Visa. So I think Visa has to step up its game if it wants to compete with MasterCard. Or maybe MasterCard will take away their pie soon.
Thank you, Shakti.
Thanks, Natalia.
And I'll see you a bit later to discuss other exciting things that we are doing and portfolio builder.
Yep.